Welcome to Addspower. Today you join me as we review the humble Ford Fiesta, and I'll tell you why I think this is such a special car. So what makes the humble Ford Fiesta so special? Well, let's tell you a bit about this car. So this is my wife and my own car. We've had it since 2013, so a long time now, and it's a fantastic car. We're probably the best car we've ever owned, certainly I've ever owned. This is a Econetic. So what Econetic was back in the sort of early 2010s, there was a big push for super frugal eco models of sort of ordinary cars, so Fiestas, Focuses, Golfs, Polos. Now this has really a headline figure. It could do 85 miles to the gallon. I think that was combined, which is obviously a crazy number. I've never actually got anywhere near that, but we have got 70, 75 on a normal run. So you are talking a real economical car here, and a car which doesn't really have anything super special to make it economical. It's really what the Econetic is. It has these really cool small 14-inch wheels, which are quite unusual to have on a modern car. The tyre size, if I can find it, is 175/65 R14. So these are really skinny tyres. These are Michelin Energies, super skinny, quite hard. You can see there the profile, just about really skinny tyres, and these really reduce the rolling resistance of the car. And this car, when you're driving along and you start to coast, it doesn't really slow down. And you do get that on sort of larger cars, heavier cars, they start to slow down, but this just has no real rolling resistance. That really helps it achieve those high MPGs. What you'll also notice is it's quite low. So this car's got lowered suspension. I think it's the Z-Tech S suspension. And the reason they've lowered it is to improve the aerodynamics of the car. And you can see, whilst it doesn't look overtly aerodynamic, it's got a few little cool touches. So you can see it's got like the winglet in front of the back wheel, and underneath, try and find it, you've got like guards, and a big spoiler and undertrail on the front. You can't see it, the car's so low to the ground. And these under trays, a sort of flat underbody, really help it carve through the air and reduce air resistance. So really really good aerodynamics, sorry. And it is quiet on the motorway. You can tell it's not really disturbing the air. What it also has, which is pretty cool, I'll show you the interior in a minute, is a 1.6 diesel. So diesels are very, they're not the engines of the moment. Let's try and do this. I think they have been unfairly demonised, but they have got their faults. But this is a 1.6, which is quite large for a sort of eco car. Plenty of torque, it's 95 horsepower, about 140, 150 pound-feet of torque. So quite chunky and powerful numbers for a small car. And it's really relaxed. You really don't have to rev this thing. It just pootles along, and it's all about not really labouring the engine. Really neat engine bay. Fords are always quite neat. Everything's easy to get at, and it's lasted well. I mean, this car's got 60,000 miles on it, and it really does look good. Okay, it's a bit dusty, but it's not bad. It's an 8-valve engine. Turbocharger on the front, common rail diesel, so nothing outrageous, just simple technology, helps it achieve those high MPGs. So we're not talking hybrids or anything like that here. It's just using what technology there was around them at the time to make a real cost-effective, cheap sort of eco car, a really green car. So what other stuff we got going on? Well, I love the styling of these Mk7.5s. So This bonnet has got this power bulge. You didn't get these on the earlier ones. And whilst that bears absolutely no relation at all to how the engine's configured in the car, the engine actually sits across, it just looks cool. Look at that really scowly face. And these things, they're 10 a penny, they're everywhere, but they're a great looking car. You don't kind of take in how neat the lines are, really athletic, lovely kind of swage line along the car, really nice sleek headlights, projector headlights on this, quite a cool feature, really good lights. These have got LEDs in them, just there. They do say these have got an Aston Martin grille. I think it looks really nice. These are a good looking car, and if you actually take time to step back and look at them, they're a great looking car. Really nice stance, really nice rear of the car, all fared in. You can't see the exhaust or anything like that. I must apologise for the wind today, it's dreadful, but for all you fathers with newborn baby, you take any time you can to do stuff like this, so you'll have to bear with it, guys. So what else have we got going on? Well, this is a titanium, so this is really the sort of luxury model you could have got at the time. So really good driving position, which I'll show you in a minute, but really low, the wheel comes to you, kind of feels like you're in a sportier car than you actually are. And these Fiestas are known for being really good to drive, class leaders, and you'll see that's probably the biggest thing for me why this car is so special. It's the control weights, everything, it's just spot on, it drives beautifully. So when you get in, absolute luxury, guys. We've got climate control. You actually have, turn this on, you get little downlighters in the luxury ones, and at night there's like a red strip, you can just see it. Get LED lighting, little LED lights here. So this is like your BMW, guys, you know, it's full on ambient lighting here. Cup holders light up red, so really nice interior at night. You've got auto dimming mirror, hello. Lovely little instrument binnacle, 2 dials. I love the indicator noise. Really nice, I love that. The indicator symbols just pop up in the corners. Everything's just really neat. I love the shape of the dash, really sporty. Ergonomics are great. People moan about these stereos, how all the buttons are everywhere, but once you get used to the car, radio, aux, phone, it's all there. It's really easy to navigate. You've just got to get the hang of it. Comfortable position. Seats quite firm. They're not the most comfy, but it's okay. The driving position is comfortable. The main thing is really good hold of the steering wheel. Pedals are just where you want them. Steering wheel controls, you have cruise control on this thing. You've got Bluetooth, you can hook your phone up, voice activation, auto lights, auto wipers. It's got the lot, guys. Right, anyway, enough of me prattling on. Let's go on with the driving. Okay, guys, let's go for a drive. So, first of all, being a diesel, I love this. Turn it on, you see the little glow plug light, you let that go out. There we go. So, a nice quiet engine, quite thrummy, but it's quite, I actually quite like the noise. I love a bit of old diesel. I think they've got a bit more character than your modern small direct injection engines. These things just have that injector rattle, just a nice little bit of character in your engine. But anyway, we'll take her out. What I'm going to do is reset the trip, so we'll see what MPG we get on this drive. But the first thing when you get into these Fords is you notice just how easy everything is. All the control weights are so well matched. So what I mean is the steering, the weight of the clutch, the weight of the gear lever, everything's just really harmonious, and that just means it feels smooth to drive. It feels like all of one. Some cars, Volkswagen Group, have really kind of gloopy steering, really kind of light gearboxes which don't quite match the pedals, and Fords just get that spot on, and it just makes the car feel really nicely engineered. It's quite a simple thing, but I imagine to actually develop it must be, it's people who like driving develop these cars. So around town this thing's really quiet, you can barely hear the engine. Audible slightly at idle, but once you're moving now it's silent. We're in 4th gear. The gearing's quite long on these Econetics. That's part of the reason it gets such high MPG. So, you know, 4th gear now, I'm just changed to 5th, we're at just over 1,000 RPM. So really low engine speeds. So there we go, there's 50. There's so much torque to pull you along. It's a really relaxing car to drive. Red line's at 5,000, so quite high for a diesel, but not an engine which really likes to be extended beyond 4. But the thing you're probably starting to see now, these Fords are really special in the way they ride and handle. So this car is quite unique in that it's got the big tyres, bulbous tyres, and a lowered sport suspension. So it's quite, what it has is a lovely blend of like tyre compliance and kind of quite firm suspension. But the ride is absolutely beautiful. I say firm, it's probably the wrong word, really controlled. It doesn't float, it just kind of follows the road surface in this really fluid, lovely, sort of comfortable manner. I mean, this car rides so much better than the so-called luxury cars I've been in. It's a really nice ride. But the nice thing is, as well, so we're at 50 now, so 50 limit. Just turn in. There's no body roll. The car's quite a soft ride, it's a medium ride, but there's no body roll. It's just to drive. It's beautiful. No body roll. Understeer, even on these really skinny tyres, not really there. You've really got to be pushing the car to get it to step out. And when you do, it's got this really neutral handling balance. So the front end and the back end kind of follow an arc. So you can see here, just around this corner, I think the back's got an element of sort of passive rear steer on it, which means that as the car leans into the corner, this back kind of follows the front, it steers itself around, and it just means the car is really agile. You don't have to put a lot of steering into it, and I can honestly say this thing drives better than some sports cars I've driven, and hot hatches. It's really good. So here we are, just coming into town. But then when you dial it back, it's just a really nice town car. And you can see here, the ergonomics, gear lever's right to hand, just really nice to flick through the gate, lovely gearbox. Steering's not too heavy. It's electric steering, so at parking speeds it's super light, and then as you start to speed up, it weights up ever so slightly, but not a huge amount of feel, but more than some cars I've been in with electric steering. But just a really nice car to be in. So, been going along at 50, and I've just looked down at the average MPG, we're at 61. So you don't really have to try in this car, and you're hitting 60s almost immediately. As I said earlier, I think 70, 75 5, something like that. It's about the best we've got out of the car, which is good going. We don't drive economically. I've got the aircon on. Don't thrash a thing, but this car achieves those figures just by being light. I think it weighs just over 1,100 kilos, and a nice unstressed engine. And that's kind of old school eco thinking. No hybrids, no batteries, just lightweight, low rolling resistance, torquey engine, which does, you know, have geared long, and the thing just scoots along. So what I'm going to do now is we'll cut to a more fun road. In fact, before we do that, let's just give you a bit of an illustration of how nice this car is to drive. So, how easy it is. So up this hill, doesn't really get caught off boost like some modern diesels. So yeah, up this hill, 20, just pulls away. Really easy to drive, really relaxed, and throughout that I didn't even exceed 2,000 RPM. So you're not getting a lot of noise. Where diesels get thrashy is at the higher rev range as this. You're not getting there, so it never gets thrashy. Actually, let's stay with it. This is a good little road. So I'm in second gear, 60 mile an hour, so let's put a foot down. There we go. So 40. Here it's starting to get quite thrashy now. It actually has quite I quite like it when it gets higher up the rev range. It sort of gets on cam, weirdly. Something in the software of the engine, but it gets on cam. But not fast, but nice, easy. That's what you want in these small cars. You just want easy to drive. These are cars for everyone. You know, from your granny right up to your young kids learning to drive. They've got to do everything. Down this bumpy road, really smooth. You're seeing I'm not getting tossed about. Just a nice, comfortable ride. Brakes are really good. Nice and progressive. Nice pedal feel. Can't fault them really. So we're just going to let these guys go, and then when you join me, we'll do some faster driving. Okay, guys, we've let those guys go. Let's do a bit of a 0 to 50, shall we? Just wait for this chap to get a move on. There we'll go. 20, 30, 40, 50. So not bad. I think book's about 12-13 seconds for this to get to 60, so not mega quick, but it's not bad. Does the job. So what about the start of the video then? So why are these things so special? Well, I think if you look at a Ford, it's a lot of people think it's a bit of a common good. It's a bit like Kellogg's cornflakes or Heinz tomato ketchup, and therefore, because it's commonplace and cheap, you know, they're a bit average and so what really. But these are popular, and these things in England, in the UK, are hugely popular because there's such a kind of, there's so much thought and time and care has gone into how this thing drives, how easy it is, how it handles on the open road, how comfortable it is, how cheap it is to run. They are a fantastic package. And that's before you get into things like practicality. We can get baby seats in the back. We've been on holidays in this thing. It handles it all with aplomb. And I think as well, I mean, maybe this is just this car, but we've had it 50,000 miles and nothing has gone wrong. Absolutely nothing. And I don't think I could ever say that about any car I've had. It has been faultless. And it gets used, but it's been completely faultless. And the level, you might not get the best quality plastics, but it's all built solidly enough. It's kind of well screwed together, and reliability wise, faultless. So a cracking car. And the money, these, I think you could pick one of these up sort of $5,000. They're not a lot of money. And that's before you get into the petrol engines. You've got the EcoBoosts, the triples, you've got the ST. These are all great cars, but the fundamental basis of the car is really good. It's really sound. So when you're thinking about a car next time, just think, okay, they might appear a little bit dull, everyone's got them, but they're a really special piece of kit. They're really well engineered, and we'll be keeping this for many, many years to come. So thank you all. That's Addspower. See you again soon.